Chapter 8. I have nothing now. How can he blackmail me? Ruoshu, come and see. Lu's mother was brewing beauty tea, her gaze barely lifting as she continued her actions. What's all the fuss about? What mess has your troublesome son gotten into again? She asked casually. Lu Jia, tossing aside the newspaper, got up and headed to the tea room. Simultaneously, he spoke. Liu had Leshing Corporation announce his engagement. Yuan Ruoshu calmly replied with a simple "oh," as if she hadn't really heard. But in the next second, she realized what Lu Jia had said. Her hand shook, causing the freshly brewed tea to spill onto the wooden table, ignoring the water stains on the table. She put down the teapot and hurriedly looked towards Lu Jia. What did you say? Engagement? Who is he marrying? 3 consecutive questions. Lu Jia handed his phone to her, saying, Su Wan Ci. Upon hearing that name, Yuan Ruoshu swiped the screen downwards. When she saw Su Wan Ci's face on the marriage certificate, she let out a relieved sigh, her carefully maintained expression finally relaxing. All her anxiety instantly turned into joy. Lu Jia looked at his wife with confusion. You're happy, Yuan Ruoshu. Wiping the table clean with a tissue, uncommonly hummed a tune. Lu Jia was perplexed. He decided to sit across from Yuan Ruoshu and discuss the matter of their daughter-in-law. Wife, don't you know that this girl has a deep connection with Fu Corporation's CEO? Yuan Ruoshu stared at him, protective. Once Ruoshu marries into our family, she'll be a part of the Lu family. I don't care about her past relationship with that Fu Jing Zhou. Now that Ruoshu is my daughter-in-law, she's part of the Lu family from this point forward. Lu Jia, this was rather unconventional thinking, wasn't it? But that person is from the Fu family. What Fu family? Yuan Ruoshu interrupted before Lu Jia could finish his sentence. Can our Lu family be afraid of the Fu family? Yuan Ruoshu stood up, slammed the table, and declared, anyone who dares to slander my daughter-in-law's past will be dealt with by Lu Corporations. Legal team Lu Jia. This truly was the behavior of a mother-in-law. Their daughter-in-law hadn't even officially entered the family, yet she was already fiercely protective. Lu Jia, the nominal head of the household, suddenly realized that his family position would need to take a step back once again. Throwing away the tissue in her hand, Yuan Ruoshu grabbed her phone and dialed Liyu's number. After he answered, without waiting for Liyu to speak, Yuan Ruoshu gave her command. Bring my daughter-in-law home tomorrow. Liyu laughed helplessly on the other end. Understood. Mom, Yuan Ruoshu snorted, then said in disdain, hang up. I get annoyed just hearing your voice. Hearing this, Liyu tapped the steering wheel. How about this? Your daughter-in-law can go to the old house by herself tomorrow, and I won't go. You dare? After Yuan Ruoshu finished speaking, she hung up the phone. Turning her head and seeing Lu Jia still sitting across from her, Yuan Ruoshu put down her phone, prepared another cup of tea, and looked at the green tea leaves gently swirling in the water. Without raising her head, she asked, Liyu's marriage to Su Wan Ci, do you not approve? As a couple for half a lifetime. How could Lu Jia not detect the faint chill in his wife's tone? Lu Jia, the chairman of Leshing Corporation, couldn't help but hear the coldness and hurriedly replied, of course not. I wholeheartedly approve. Yuan Ruoshu looked at him. Lu Jia continued. Ruoshu comes from an esteemed family. Her father, Su Zheng, and her mother, Zhu Yanjun, are both top scholars in the country, having made significant contributions throughout their lives and earning the respect of countless people. Moreover, Ruoshu has both talent and beauty. At just over 20 years old, she's already renowned in the medical field. And for that young fellow Liu to be able to marry such a girl, it's his good fortune. Lu Jia finished his sentence in one breath, afraid of being even a second or half a second slow. Su Wan Ci worried she would have to kneel on the keyboard tonight, listening to everything. Yuan Ruoshu finally let go of her worries completely. She picked up her cup of grapefruit tea and took a sip, already contemplating what dishes she should prepare for the first meeting tomorrow. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Su Wan Ci and He Yuning were chatting in the coffee shop about recent events. Halfway through, Yi Yuning received a phone call informing her that she needed to go back to work for an interview. After they said their goodbyes, Yi Yuning went back to the radio station, while Su Wan Ci prepared to go home. Just as she had left the coffee shop and walked less than 100 meters away, a black Bentley parked in front of her. The car door opened, revealing a man in a black suit stepping out. It was Fu Jing Zhou's assistant, Xing Hang. "Miss Su, Mr. Fu is looking for you." "I'm busy," Su Wan Ci said, turning to leave. Seeing Su Wan Ci's resolute attitude, Xing Hang became a little anxious. He quickly took a few steps and caught up to her. "Miss Su, please don't make it difficult for me. Mr. Fu is still waiting for you." On the sidewalk, Su Wan Ci suddenly stopped walking. Xing Hang stood just a step away from her. Su Wan Ci's expression turned cold as she looked at him. "Tell him that I have nothing now. What can he use to blackmail me? This." Xing Hang was indeed in a difficult position. If it were someone else, he could have forcefully taken them back with him. However, he dared not do so with Su Wan Ci. Over the past few years, he had always thought of her as a delicate and gentle girl. It wasn't until these past few days when the situation between Su Wan Ci and Mr. Fu escalated that he realized the previously meek and docile girl could be so fierce. Just hesitating for a few seconds, Su Wan Ci had already walked far away. There was a pharmacy near the coffee shop. Thinking about how Liu hadn't taken any precautions last night, Su Wan Ci turned into the pharmacy and bought a box of contraceptives. After coming out, she took a bottle of water from her bag and swallowed one pill. Putting the remaining pills back into her bag, Su Wan Ci walked towards the parking lot, only to encounter Su Ru at the corner. The entrance of the parking lot was dimly lit, but it didn't prevent the two from seeing each other's expressions clearly. Su Ru was dressed in high-end luxury clothes, wearing delicate yet intense makeup. Despite her young age, she styled her hair in large waves. It was early autumn, already a bit chilly, but she wore a V-neck short skirt that revealed a lot of skin, with fiery red lips and matched with bright red 10-centimeter high heels. She exuded an aura of dominance and extravagance. Su Ru was Su Wan Ci's cousin, her uncle's daughter. They were cousins before. Su Ru had always portrayed herself as a pitiable little flower. However, since the incident between Su Wan Ci and Fu Jing Zhou, she had reverted to her true self, no longer hiding her intentions. In the past, Su Wan Ci would have shown concern for her cousin's attire, reminding her not to catch a cold dress like that. But now, looking at Su Ru, Su Wan Ci felt nothing but annoyance. "Is there something you need?" Su Wan Ci stood at the entrance of the parking lot, looking at Su Ru, who was blocking her way. Su Ru first scanned Su Wan Ci up and down, her face displaying her usual innocent little sister look. However, her envy was so thick that it was hard to conceal. Sister really has some methods. "As soon as brother Jingju rejects you, you find yourself a new sugar daddy," she said in a sarcastic tone while admiring her freshly manicured nails. Her words gradually turned more venomous. "I just wonder if a parentless girl like you, with a bad reputation, can enter the Liu family." As she spoke, she took a step closer to Su Wan Ci, her voice lowered as she sneered. "Sister, the Liu family is quite high up. You should know better than anyone. I wonder if they'll let you in when they find out you're a murderer's daughter." Smack! Su Ruhei's words were cut off as Su Wan Ci slapped her across the face.